Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
New KFC saucy wings. It's finger licking good. Now, people, a man and a woman are dead after being hit by a motorist along the Florida Glasspool Highway in Kingston this morning. Reports are that around 6:30 a.m., a male driver was traveling along the roadway towards Harborview when he lost control of the vehicle, striking the two pedestrians. The vehicle also overturned on the road. The man and woman were later pronounced dead. The driver was taken into custody and a breathalyzer test was administered, which returned a negative result. He is reportedly facing a charge of manslaughter. The driver was previously charged for breaches of the Road Traffic Act. People, let me say, making a peace and safety a sudden destruction. Can you imagine the man and the woman on the road are going to place? Here comes a motorist, lost control of his vehicle. You may I tell you, and collided in the two pedestrian. See him? Now them dead, him in a police custody. It rough. I always tell a man this, you see, anytime you left your yard and you find out say you reach back at your yard safe and sound, do me beg you. Give God thanks because enough people left their yard each day hoping to return and remember them never return. Yes man, some from the hospital to the dead house and then you know nine night and funeral after. May their soul rest in peace. Driver, your car not dark. Trust me, I cannot help you and I don't know what to say to you. But the only thing me can say to you, when you get bail, or if you get bail and come back on the road and able to drive a motor vehicle again, please don't ever lose control of the vehicle. From what you hear them say, the water system, something wrong with it. Them say the water not good. Me hear some people say I'll filth in the water. That mean them say do no in the water, you know, people say that a person. The water, the pipe water me I talk about. Anyway, some claims were made and them say a false accusation and the people them make the claims come back now to come clear up the air again. So please watch and listen. Good morning to our viewers on Facebook and those viewing us live on TikTok. I'm Nikisha Burchell, the Deputy General Secretary of the People's National Party and Information and Public Communications spokesperson for the opposition. Thank you so much to the members of the media who are here with us this morning for not just another press conference, but for an SOS alert for a national attention to be pointed at our health sector. Our public health system is in crisis, and the lives of ordinary Jamaicans are being placed at risk because of neglect, delay, and misplaced priorities. Our spokesperson for health and public wellness, Dr. Dawes, will speak to you about what's happening at the Kingston Public Hospital, a hospital that is itself sick. Jesse James Clark, our junior spokesperson on health, will speak to you about troubling issues related to water quality affecting communities across Kingston and St. Andrew. Remember, when Jesse sounded the alarm and the government said it was not true, we have the evidence today. In the face of public health crisis and collapse, is the ministry's real priority to safeguard the lives of the Jamaican citizens? Where is the Minister of Health in all of this? Is he at sea searching for replacements for the Cuban doctors whose terms have expired? The People's National Party is raising these questions not to score points, but to demand answers for the sake of every Jamaican.
who deserves proper health care and clean, safe water. After all, we are the land of wood and water. Over to you, Jesse James Clark, to speak to them about the water quality.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jesse James Clark, and I'm a junior shadow spokesperson for Health and Wellness. I'm also the chair for the Public Health and Sanitation Committee for Kingston and St. Andrew. No concerns were raised to us in our committee meetings about the quality of water in sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. And that is what prompted us to do a tour of several water treatment facilities in both in the corporate area and in the rural and some of the rural water treatment sites. We have seen results that are quite alarming, and we brought it to the public because we felt that not much was being done to make the public aware of the risk that they were being exposed to. After I brought these results to the public, I was accused of bringing false information and telling lies. However, I just want to highlight the results that we have here today that are projected on your screen. And I want to point to you first, look at this graph. What the bar chart, what is showing is showing what the levels of coliform should be. And just for everyone, coliforms, these are organisms, bacteria, aka germs, that are found in feces and also found in soil. And they're indication of the quality of our water supply. Now the red line going across the bar charts running from your left to right, this is what the standard should be. So you should not have any of the coliform limits going above this 5% that you see that red line is connected to. However, if you realize, for Kingston and St. Andrew, they are right at 5, and the yellow bars indicate distribution. So that means after the water have left the plant in your pipes, that's what it is. And this is suggesting in this case that there's something happening along the line after the water has been treated, because before it's okay. However, when you look at what is happening in at our rural water treatment sites, it's very clear, as you can see from the graph, and this is NWC's results, by the way, that you have at source, which is that blue bar, it's almost 5 times the allowable limit. So you have 5 times the amount of germs that should be in the water presently, and these are coliforms, which means that you have very bad water quality after the water was treated, because at source, this is at the plant when they have brought the water through their treatment process and tested it to see if the treatment process had worked. And you see that it's way above the allowable limit. And knowing this, the water was still distributed, and you have in distribution where it's almost 3 times the allowable limit, where it's at 70 in the yellow bar for the rural communities. Now, this is not just a one-off situation for the month of February. For the rural areas especially, this has been consistent. And we understand why you'll have this consistent bad result of poor water quality coming out in the rural areas after our visit. The water treatment, we're not saying that you'll be able to do all the steps that you do at your major water treatment facilities, like a Constant Spring. But even in rural areas, you still have to take some measures to ensure that the water is safe for consumption. So, for example, at your regular water treatment site, the water goes through several processes. For example, it goes through flocculation, which is where they add chemicals to bind with those fine particles that might be in the water, so that they can become heavier and settle out. You have sedimentation, which is where the heavier dirt particles settle and the water is basically clarifying the water to make it clear. And then that sedimentation the clear water is removed. It is filtered, and it passes through several different filters, whether it's sand of different size filters, to ensure that they remove any residual viruses, organisms that might be left back in the water. And then it moves from there to disinfection, where you have your chlorination taking place. However, in the rural areas, we're not saying that you have to do all these steps. However, filtration is a must. And this is one of the infrastructure upgrades that has to take place at our rural water treatment sites to ensure that the water is safe. Also, we're recommending that they install temporarily, they can use black tanks, or what we Jamaicans call black tanks, or water tanks. And temporarily, to have holding areas for the water in the rural areas so it has enough contact time with the chlorine before it's distributed. You cannot be getting results that shows that you are having poor water quality at source and you're still distributing it to the public. Another major concern for us is how the Ministry of Health came out and said that the Environmental Division in the Ministry of Health, they came out and said that the water was safe for consumption in Kingston and St. Andrew, but at the same time, the NWC is producing results to show that it is not safe. So I'm now saying to the Ministry of Health that you need to get your house in order And we need some accountability as to why you were saying that the water is safe when NWC is saying that the water isn't. NWC has also since then admitted that they're having challenges in the rural areas, and they have also admitted 6 days ago on their Instagram page that they have found samples positive for fecal coliforms. And they said that when they have instances of that happening, they will line and they'll cut off water supply. And I'm asking the persons in the rural Jamaica if that happened. And we want them to now come and apologize for their misleading information that they have been giving to the public and for trickling out the truth bit by bit. I'm also asking the journalists present here with us today for you to do your own fact-finding mission and get the results from the NWC. But not only get the results, I want you to visit these rural water treatment sites and let them show you the process of treatment that the water goes through. And you tell me if it's up to standard. Or the minister with the responsibility for water, and also the Minister of Health needs to come out and ensure that we are getting, the steps are in place to ensure that we get good quality water in Kingston and St. Andrew. Also, we also want to make the recommendation to the National Water Commission, similar to how we get the results from Petrojam about the pricing of fuel each week. We'd want them to publish their results, and if they're having issues in any particular area, they need to let the residents know the areas that will be affected by the poor quality water and what has been done to correct those measures, and when it is safe again for the residents in these areas to consume the water that is being released. We have no issues with the staff at the National Water Commission because after my visit and tour to as well, I understand you have a very difficult job and that you're given basket to carry water most times. So I'm also advocating for the staff at the NWC to receive the necessary gears, compensation, and resources to ensure that they can get to these remote sites and collect the samples and to also upgrade these sites so that they can do their job properly. They cannot do what they don't have the resources to do. So the minister and the Ministry of Health needs to be the one that is overseeing the NWC and protecting us, the consumers, and to ensure that they stick to the standards that are there for them to be, for the water that is being produced by NWC. So once again, I just want to point out the inconsistencies between the results coming from NWC and the results coming from the Ministry of Health, the environmental unit, and they need to answer to the public and to Jamaica at large for that. And we need the NWC to come out, and anywhere else on the island, don't wait on us, or don't wait on us to come out and to say it. You come out and tell us all the other areas on the island that you're having water quality issues and what is being done to address it. In this case, we understand you have to do some infrastructure upgrade, or the results from your rural water treatment sites, they will not improve, and filtration is a big step. Thank you very much.
To be honest, myself and my team, we did not know that things were this bad. Where we warned of a collapse, we didn't know that the system was actually collapsing in front of our very eyes. The latest storm or hurricane to the healthcare sector is the mold crisis at the Kingston Public Hospital. Now, as far back as last year, October, November, there were concerns about mold in the clinics. A study was done, and because of the GLP's response every time we make a claim to attack us and call us liars and purveyors of information, we are making the reports publicly available so that Jamaicans can see for themselves that an independent subject matter expert has confirmed that there is a mold crisis at the Kingston Public Hospital. They have moved out the clinics from that area, downscaled the size of the clinics and house them in a separate room. But the problem still exists. The pitch patch work that took place at Cornwall Regional Hospital when that mold crisis first came to light about 9 years ago is the same sort of work that is taking place at KPH today. On top of that, there was a recent expose of the operating theaters not being functional because of the air conditioning units not working well. This was downplayed, but we did see that the 4 operating theaters are shut down now at the Kingston Public Hospital. And what has happened is that in that moist environment, mold is growing in the operating theaters. Again, this is being downplayed as something that can be fixed. But we know the track record, looking back at what happened at Cornwall Regional Hospital, And we are very fearful that the same thing is going to happen at KPH again. We as a nation cannot afford for that to happen. We have two Type A hospitals serving Jamaicans in the public healthcare system. Corner Regional Hospital is basically non-functional. Kingston Public Hospital has been the only Type A hospital in the public sector that has been carrying the brunt of all of the trauma, all of the specialist care across the island while serving the needs of the Kingston metropolitan region. Now, with KPH being downsized, it is a crisis affecting not just Kingstonians, but Jamaicans right across the island. Surgeries have been cut, understandably because you don't have an operating theater. They're on emergency surgeries and dire emergency surgeries only. Dire emergency means that you're going to die. And so you have to rush the patient to theater. If you have an emergency and you're not going to die immediately, then you wait until you become a dire emergency. Unfortunately, there are people who are patients who are admitted at KBH now who will never make it to an operating room. They unfortunately are going to die waiting to receive service. They have tried to outsource some of the more urgent cases, cancer cases, at the University Hospital. It has been a logistical nightmare. They're not getting half as many cases as they would have liked done. They're trying to do some at Bustamante Hospital in another piecemeal approach, but there is no coordinated plan to see how you're going to get surgical services up and running. There are some crucial surgical disciplines that we cannot afford to fall off completely. One such service is neurosurgery. With Cornwall Regional Hospital not having a fully functional neurosurgical service, we're left with just KPH, and now KPH does not have a functioning neurosurgical service, which means that if anyone, anywhere in Jamaica, gets a fall or any head injury, they are in serious danger of dying on something that could have easily been fixed with surgery. Do not feel that the University Hospital can shoulder the brunt of all of the trauma, all of the complex cases that are currently being sent for their management. They cannot. One Type A hospital in the entire Jamaica cannot serve a population of almost 3 million persons who are getting older, who have chronic diseases and get a lot of strokes, heart attacks, and we do have a high rate of motor vehicle accidents as well as violent trauma. So when you put all of those factors together, taking out Cornwall Regional out of the public healthcare sector, and now taking out KPH as well, we are in a serious crisis mode. We cannot pretend as if it is big. This is as usual. We cannot paint up a building and say that renovations are taking place. We cannot say that this was something that was inherited. We have to take decisive actions now.
Give your business the best address online with GoDaddy's range of domain names. Choose from tons of domain names.
No, I don't understand the justice system in Jamaica. I don't understand.
Now, people, I get to understand, say, a 6-year-old girl was sexually assaulted, allegedly, by an 11-year-old boy at the Jesse Paul Primary School. Me even hear, say, the 11-year-old boy admitted to doing it, and this is not the first time he might do it. People is serious. And the worst part about it, the 6-year-old girl mother was also molested when she was a child. You know, hear good people? And it seems as if they must say, nothing gonna come out of this because a 2 minor, a 6-year-old and a 11-year-old. So there's no case, or you never understand what they must say good, because they must say a 2 minor. So nothing now go come out of it. People, judgment upon Jamaica, you know. Judgment upon Jamaica. Because if this just slide under the carpet like that, there's no justice system here. See? Yo, I don't want to talk about a same thing over your side because I can't understand what's going on in the people. Anyway, listen keenly to this.
Now just imagine you being a mother who was sexually assaulted, raped when you were younger, and only for your daughter, your 6-year-old daughter, to experience the same fate. Now this is a story I woke up to this morning. Let me tell you how it unfolds. Now a mother who is also a grave victim is seeking justice for her 6-year-old daughter. Her daughter was sexually assaulted by an 11-year-old boy. And again, this mother seeks justice. Now, this assault happened at the Jesse Paul Primary School, and that primary school is located at 26 South Camp Road, Kingston, Jamaica. Now, the 6-year-old girl was approached by the 11-year-old boy. She had never met him before, even though they attend the same school. Now, the 6-year-old girl was waiting on her driver to take her home. That's when she was approached by the 11-year-old boy, the predator. He approached her and he asked her, "Has anyone ever touched you on your vagina before?" 6-year-old girl replied, "No." He then held the 6-year-old girl by her hand and dragged her to a classroom. And in this classroom, no one can see them. Just them, both, and the benches. All of this that I'm speaking on was captured on camera. Now, after they entered the classroom, 6 minutes later, the 6-year-old girl was seen running from the classroom where the alleged assault happened. Now, the 6-year-old girl explained what happened to a Sissoko agent about what happened in that classroom. The 6-year-old girl said that the 11-year-old boy treated her. The 6-year-old girl also said that the only reason why the 11-year-old boy released her from the classroom was because she promised not to tell anyone. The 6-year-old girl went on to state that when she went back to await her driver, the 11-year-old boy, the predator, came up to her and asked her if she wanted something milky to drink. She said she refused, and then he said, "Do you want a juice instead?" Now the authorities are aware of what happened. Now the boy, the predator, and the victim, the 6-year-old, are now in a meeting. And now the 11-year-old boy, the predator, gives his side of the story. And this is what the 11-year-old predator has to say. "I heard her talking about sex with her friends, so I, the boy, pulled her aside so I could teach her about good touch and bad touch." Like what? Now with all of this that had happened, the 6-year-old mother took her to Sissoko. Now Sissoko is a branch within the JCF that deals with sexually assaulted victims, rape victims, and victims that has been molested. Now, after the mother took her daughter to this place to get help, the Sissoko agent that she spoke to basically told her nothing will come of the situation because they're both minors.
What?
Now just imagine how the mother felt hearing these words from somebody she went to for assistance. And it's also been said that the boy, the 11-year-old, this is not his first time doing something like this. As a matter of fact, he was asked if he had done this to somebody else, and he answered yes. So it's very clear that he's a serial predator, and him being a minor is being used to protect him. Now, with all of this action, the school must have known, and I think the school had failed the 6-year-old and the previous victim of this 11-year-old wrath. They might recommend counseling, but I don't think counseling is enough. With a child like this with these traits, juvenile detention should be considered. And I've come across reports about this situation, and it seems as if they want to protect the school's name more than protecting the child that is a victim of rape. I've seen where they're saying that, oh, the school is a good school. Like what? So like I said, they're more to protect the school's name than protect the child.
In addition to that, the Child Protection and Family Service Agency, CPFSA, says it is deeply disturbed by the alleged sexual assault.
We are deeply troubled by this incident, as schools should be looked at as a safe haven for students and not one where they should be vulnerable to being sexually abused, especially not by their fellow students. As soon as this incident was brought to our attention at Sissoko on Wednesday, March 12, we launched our own investigation into the matter to see how best we could intervene in the best interest of both children involved. The young victim has been referred to the Ministry of Justice's Victim Services Division for counseling, which has already begun, and the older child was referred to the Child Guidance Clinic for psychological intervention. The CPFSA is continuing its investigation into this incident, and we will be doing home visits as well as community assessments for both children. We will also be doing a visit to the school to obtain further information to aid in our investigation.
People, you see, I think what them call crime and violence, it not done. And people are going always take justice in them own hands. Yeah, me I tell you. Some of them you can blame them. Some of them you can't blame them. Me I tell a man that me not promote violence, but uno see it for uno self. Yeah, me I tell you. Them say pressure bust pipe. You want to tell me say no? There's no form of punishment for the accused. Hmm? No form of punishment, and the victim have to live with this for the rest of her life. She got trauma for the rest of her life. Hmm? Yo, ja. Me I tell you, can you imagine how that girl traumatized right now? Hmm? And there's no form of justice because the accused don't have no form of punishment for get. Because when I say the two of them are minor, okay. So if the two of them are minor, right, and there's no punishment, why when a two adult there's punishment? Not two adult? A two adult, So you could have said, a two adult see me, me not promote nothing as a people. Me not promote wrongdoings. But me attack logically right now. See? Two minor, no punishment. So why when a two adult punishment in it? What good for goose, good for gander. See? At the same thing the adult do and not charge the adult. So and the same thing the minor do. So charge everybody just the same. Because justice must be served. Eh? How the victim get justice? How? How them feel satisfied? Me no know. Me no understand this man. Hmm? It look like the accused get bread and butter at all times, and the victim just get a slice of bread and a cup of water. On the seat, on the don't blind people. Me say at all times the accused get two slices of bread and butter and juice too. And the victim only get one slice of bread and a cup of water. And I tell her, say, yo, people, I don't know what to say now, but it's rough out there. See? Because no parents can feel satisfied with them as something here.
Sure.
No, I don't understand the justice system here in Jamaica. I don't understand it. Because you go tell me, say, a 6-year-old girl by a 11-year-old at school. The 11-year-old draw with the 6-year-old, carry her in a class. Be sure you say him know where I do, can plan out everything. Him know where I do. Take with the little girl, carry her in a class. And when you're done do what you go do, you go tell the little girl, say, no, tell nobody. And the little girl says she not go tell nobody, and so comes you let her out. And when she go there, go sit down, you go back to her and ask her if she want more, you go buy her juice. Hey, me I tell you, man, me know say orange suit would have to wear for me because me not ask Christ. Me not ask Christ, me I find him. Me not ask Christ, me I find him. You mad man, him know where him a do. And when you listening video, when you listening sitting again, you go hear them and say, ask him question and ask him if him ever do them things there before, and him a go tell them, yeah. So for sure you say no she alone, him a touch, him a touch up other people pitney, Him a touch up other people pitney. So him is a little man, him start from early. Him start from early. So me feel like say them fi punish him from early. Them fi punish him from early. Because if them not punish him, I go around and do more and more. And then every parents I go take it light. Somebody I go hurt him. Me I tell you no somebody I go hurt him. Something have to be done right. It have to stop.
Guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe, guys.